Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. A new test client update dropped, including some minor buffs and nerfs for some classes, changes to boss patterns and boss carries in Reboot. I wanted to show a lot, but I got locked up in jail again for unspeakable crimes, so I cannot really show any KMS footage because I'm currently locked for another 12 hours. So anyway, there are two new events, which are gonna be great for leveling, but I'm sure everyone wants to know what is happening to Reboot boss carries first, so I won't keep you waiting. Keep in mind, this is still in the test client, so things can still be adjusted, but for now a change was made that you need to deal at least 5% of the total damage during a boss fight if you want to be eligible for the boss rewards in Reboot. After some research, the development team found that 40% of all characters during boss fights dealt less than 1% total damage in Reboot, so basically a lot of boss carries were happening and now they have to deal at least 5% or more total damage dealt to boss monsters and monsters summoned by the boss monster to get the rewards. Also, in response to the outcry of non-tradability of endgame gear in the regular servers, the Dawn boss set, including the Daybreak pendant, Twilight mark, and those new earrings, they can now be Sizzled of Karma in the regular server up to 10 times, so they can be made tradable. The Guardian Angel ring, though, will remain untradable. Next are the boss changes we've all been waiting for. Magnus got nerfed. His meteors got nerfed, now no longer one-shotting you in normal mode and also in hard mode. Those blue meteors now deal 80% of your maximum health as damage instead of one-shotting you. The damage recovery reduction in normal when you're outside the blue zone was reduced from 90% to 20% less recovery and from 90% to 40% in hard Magnus. That's also really nice. Magnus' skill range was reduced as well, and the frequency of receiving damage outside of the blue zone was changed from 1 tick per second to 1 tick every 2 seconds in hard difficulty. And you now respawn in the center of the map, which is also very nice because you'll get gassed up real quickly over there on the sides. Those are some really solid changes for this boss fight. For Chaos Papilladis, his bomb attack now only does 70% of your maximum health as damage. Pap won't teleport you anymore when the floor is lava. Lucid no longer teleports you into her dragon when she summons that. In Gloom, the speed of the void fragments is reduced and they will no longer be created whenever you enter fear mode when the screen goes dark. Some minor changes were made to Darknell. The falling speed of his spheres was changed, new warning effects were added and energy sphere colors were adjusted so it's easier to recognize what the heck is happening during that boss fight. Black Mage had some changes to his meteors, reducing their attack range. This is now for phase 3, which I can't reach, so I can't really show you that. Saren lost her touch damage and you can now avoid her sword rush attack by lying down by ducking. Also good news for everyone wanting to practice boss fights, the entry limit has been improved from 20 times to unlimited times. And the 30-minute cooldown on entering boss fights again has been removed. These are most important changes to game content and bosses. There also are 2 new events which are pretty good. One is this strawberry event where you can collect coins, you can then enter a special field where monsters give better EXP. You'll also gain rewards for completing the daily quest of collecting 100 drops. Those are mostly EXP coupons and some cosmetic items. This farm where you can hunt monsters can be entered 5 times per day and you can hunt 1000 monsters there every time. This farm is available until you hit level 220, so it's a nice leveling event for lower level characters. The other event is a collection quest where you can collect up to 300 snacks per day to receive EXP exchange tickets based on the amount of snacks obtained. You can use those to level up your characters up to level 200 and you can use 100 snacks to activate a buff on the magic slate that gives bonus stats like bonus EXP up to 40% at level 5, 40% IED at level 5, boss damage, normal monster damage, you name it. And those were all smaller changes and new events. Since there are a lot of skill changes though, I will only cover the most impactful ones. All heroes' will type skills got their cooldown reduced to 300 seconds from 360 to 300. Paladins got a boost to the damage of their attacks. Paladins' blast damage went up from 285% to 305%. Divine Judgment's damage from 500 to 550%. And Mighty Mjolnir's damage went up from 360% to 400%. Pretty decent buffs for already best class Paladin. Dark Knights, on the other hand, were deemed too powerful and they lost 2% final damage and 30 attack from the Dark Thirst attack bonus. Ice Lightning Mages, their chain lightning damage got increased from 200% to 220%, and Night Lords lost 2% final damage and 20 attack from passives, but their marks got slightly buffed below level 270 and slightly nerfed above level 270. Night Lord marks scaled with your level and now with just a flat amount, which is good for lower level characters and bad for higher level characters. Dawn Warriors did not escape the nerfs this time, losing 30 attack from passive buffs and 3% critical damage. No game-changing nerfs whatsoever though. Blaze Wizards also lost 5% final damage, but gained more damage to normal monsters with their orbital flames. 10% damage increase there, and their Inferno skill when using Fox mode was buffed, now dealing 630% damage instead of 340. Nightwalkers lose 2% final damage and 25% damage on their Shadow Spear. Evan's Wind Circle skill now does 70% more damage against normal monsters, but this class also loses 25 magic attack from passives, and the magic attack increase from Dragon Fury was reduced from 35% to 30%. Phantom actually got some buffs this time around. 20% more damage on their Mila Aguilas and 55% more damage on Tempest. Whoa, actually some improvements for Phantom this time around. Mechanics now get a passive flat damage boost instead of getting a boost per robot summoned. That's a really nice change. Before I believe it was 6% more damage per robot summoned, and now it's just a flat amount, which is really dope. Xenon got a 35% damage increase on his sniper skill and photon ray. Now that's 800% damage instead of 700. For the glory of Kaisers, Kaisers get a passive +1 attack speed on their mastery, which is epic. But your attack speed also changed depending on how filled up your gauge was, and that buff has now been removed. And the gauge no longer decreases over time either, which is pretty good. Now they just need to get rid of the Dragon Link skill, and then Kaisers is gonna be best class. Lara got +1 attack speed, and there are a lot of other smaller changes. I'll link the update notes in the top comment. Just keep in mind they are in Korean. You can also check out Orange Mushroom Block if you want to check out the English ones. So what do you think of all the upcoming changes? Let me know in the comments. And that was all for today. Hope you enjoyed. And as always, many thanks to our members making these videos possible. Special thanks to Niels de Coninck, Raar maar waar, Sebastian Hanoy, Ryalias, Terry Kim, Vareese, Mora, Wiley, Historycanon, BackSpaceOTI, Saffronyx, Ziggy Deer, Flidiot, Knifesu, Cloudfix, Gusus Rodriguez, Digby, Vara, Trevor, Michael Menchaca, Ratius, Justin Vale, Silvio Nato, Afterlord_Mess, Striker Elk, Tidal on Pan, Radical Jaws, Riser RU, Sir Tito 655, Mathias Simonsson, PC Game Life, The Passenger, Martin Panzik, Conrad Crystallis, Ace Light, Mr. Narc, Ben Wolf, Max Bernhardt, Muka 1017, BNB King, Scotty Flies Fast, Priscilla, Brendon Cam, Fake Botnet, Feko, Victor Sunstrom, ceemak, Only, Rashid Al-Rudi, Gerlando Belavia, John Frankel, Calderon Canavero, Lucky Beats, Matinho Def, Gummy Bullet, Lord Fazil, Spats D. Kaiser, Zunnen, That Archer Guy, Grogo, Gabrielek, Lewis, Bento Brandao, Dante Victory, and Snowful Pop. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and happy gaming!